to our organizers and everybody that's been helping out this last week. We give one more round of applause for everybody. I'm Zach Bob, and I got the honor of coming up here every week and introducing every single entrepreneur every Wednesday at 9 o'clock right here at Rose State. And this is Brandon right here. He's my colleague. He'll be here every Wednesday as well to help us out. I want to start with who's been to 1 Million Cups before? All right, did you bring anybody? No? Try to bring somebody whenever you come, because you never know who might... I'm going to go without this. Can y'all hear me back there? All right. Try to bring somebody, because every week you never know who might need that little nudge to take that entrepreneurial leap. Let's see. Oh yeah. All right. So if we bring up our first entrepreneur, which is going to be Paul from Crime Scene. Paul. All right. We're going to let Paul take it away from here.
I got a wireless mic. I don't have to hold that thing. Are we ready? Well, hey, thanks for having me here at Oklahoma City. They were going to dim the lights. They had them dim today. Thank you. I want to thank Stan before I get my timer starts. I want to thank Stan and Rose State. This is awesome. What a venue that we have to do this in. And it's all free. The coffee's free. What a neat way to spend a Wednesday morning. Well, hey, yeah. Somebody said, hey, I see it's free. And what's lunch? And I said, no. So anyway, hope you enjoy your coffee. Thanks for having me. I'm Paul Conrady with CrimeScene.com. Hey, so they transferred my files, and I knew that was going to happen. Y'all, can I have my file back? All right, well, I'll struggle through this, because I got a lot of animations in here, and they didn't transfer when they took my file over. Is Fernando in? My file,
Go ahead.
Alex?
It might still be on there.
Nah, anyway, I got a lot of animation. I clicked through this thing, but we'll struggle through it. You give me that. Now, see, that's why I said, hey, I'll be the guinea pig. I've done this up in Tulsa.
The top one. That top one.
It's the yes. Well, no, that isn't it. But go ahead. We'll run with that one. I got a couple of glitches in it. Dave King, is Dave here?
Dave is in Boston.
Dave said, hey, Paul, you'll be changing this at the last minute. And I said, well, it's neat to have the luxury. Yeah, just bring your flash drive the next day and plug it in. So there we go. Hey, I appreciate it. Okay, now my clock starts. Hey, this is the face of crime. I chased guys just like this for 32 years at Edmunds Security when I had my alarm company. In the old days, all we had was electronic security. Today, we have video. Understand that the FBI says we got an estimated 8.6 million property crimes reported, remember, reported each year, for an estimated 16.6 billion in losses. Oklahoma City, you stand a 1 in 14 chance of being a victim of crime. The Dallas Morning News, if you watch the news articles, they're always talking about budget cuts, and it seems the police are the first to go. They're definitely not increasing police budgets. So what does the future of crime fighting look like? Maybe it's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. And the problem with that, there's no geographic limitations. When you post something, it just goes out to the world. So the other side of that is next door, Facebook with a fence. It's hard to get out of your neighborhood or the surrounding neighborhood, so it's very localized. The information doesn't get out to people that might be of help. So what if we had a crime-solving social network, an interactive database for crime? That would be Crime Scene. It's as simple as entering your email, your password, your zip code, and you've got free membership to Crime Scene. All content is member-generated. Okay? Cameras are not required, but they help. So once you join Crime Scene, you need to define your patrol radius. First, you drop in your locations, then you drop in your custom patrol radius around each location. Somebody files a report outside your patrol radius, who cares? It's like it happened in another city, we don't care. But if they did file something and it falls in your patrol radius, you're notified via email. So what does that email look like? Well, first of all, this is the email you received. It's got the distance to the event. The most compelling snapshot. Put the most compelling snapshot so people will click that link, because when they click the link, they end up on Crime Scene. First thing that you're going to see on Crime Scene are the details, the police department, the date, case number, reward. Second thing you're going to see is the crime. And these guys understand they're breaking into your neighbor's car. This is your neighbor. This is inside your patrol radius. So as soon as you get this notification, you're going to look at your cameras. Oh, you don't have cameras yet. Well, we got the local sponsored ads. That's where the alarm companies are advertising. They install cameras. You get enough of these from break-ins in your neighborhood, we hope you'll be calling our sponsors to buy a camera system. That's who supports Crime Scene. That's how it's monetized. Next thing you have when you scroll down is you got the video, so you can watch a video. Some of them are comical, and some of them make your blood boil that they would actually do that thing. I don't know if y'all saw the firefighter that got run over this last week. 2 people's video systems is what helped catch those guys in the same neighborhood. Details. Be very specific when you're filing a report with details. VIN numbers, serial numbers, that's all searchable in a database. Then there's a printable poster tab. When you click on that tab, that goes to a PDF. That's a poster that's extracting the information pertinent that you can hang that at the water fountain, because remember, that happened in your neighborhood. That happened next to your business. So hang that at the water fountain. If somebody walks by and sees the QR code, they can land on Crime Scene, they can land on this report, and hopefully they'll join as a member. The next thing you'll see is the map. Where did that happen? You can drill into that and actually see the surrounding of it. But the most important are the tips. Just the facts, ma'am. No Facebook noise that says, oh, that's so sad, or those thugs are in our neighborhood. All we want are details. Those details go straight back to the author. One of the other features we have is a report search. If you do know the specific VIN or serial number, you can type it in that menu bar. If you got general terms, you can type those general terms, zip code, miles, and look for a search of the reports. You're searching a report database. If you did put in the serial number of that watch because it was stolen this morning, and that person took it to the pawn shop this afternoon, and the pawn shop entered that serial number on Crime Scene, this is what he would see. A guy wearing a skull t-shirt, a fake ball cap, his buddy wearing a camo coat. Is he sitting in that car parked in the driveway, the red Grand Am? All those details are instantly available. Maybe that pawn shop broker won't buy the stolen item. Maybe he collects the reward. Cameras near you. Drill down into the Google map. Click on one of the markers. That's what this gentleman records 24/7. Notice that bottom picture? That is in pitch black darkness. There's no lights in that picture. That is the new technology coming our way that all of us will want at our house. When you click on connect to the author, you can send him an email, tell him the particulars, what you need to know. Remember, this is not your daddy's neighborhood watch. We're not watching. We don't have those signs. It's not that we're watching and we're going to report you to the police. We're going to record you, and we're going to connect with our neighbors. We're going to share the information of your pictures, and we're going to pursue you. Because the faster we can solve that crime, the faster we can get you back out of our neighborhood. So when that guy shows up at your back door, obviously, first thing we want you to do as a family is call the police, file a report. Second thing we want you to do is file it on Crime Scene. As soon as you file it on Crime Scene, cut and paste that URL and send it out to your social media. Because if we all get involved, not only the Crime Scene membership, but if we share it with our social media, maybe we can effect an arrest. So the bottom line to Crime Scene, we strive to connect security industry leaders, concerned citizens, and law enforcement to a platform utilizing today's technology and the power of the internet to make our communities a safer place. Thank you all.
Nailed your time, Paul.
I'm sorry?
Nailed your time.
I know, that's why I saw it go to 0 and I said, little practice.
Do we have any questions?
Oh, just so everybody in here knows, if you ever get to present, 6 minutes is the deal. And the closer you can hit 6 minutes, the first time I did that, everybody at the table kind of, Alex goes, man, I can't believe that was exactly on the second.
Yeah.
Well, how long has your company been in business?
I had Edmund Security for 32 years. At the end of my career at Edmund Security, I launched Crime Scene inside Edmund Security. I used it as a marketing tool. My video business exploded. I sold my company. I was chased down because of our growing video business. I backed up, wanted to go back and redevelop Crime Scene, been working on it. We're just to a point that we're ready to launch. And so I've had it for about 4 years. Then we went into redevelopment, and we're just now getting ready to launch version 2.0.
How many subscribers do you have?
Well, in Oklahoma City, with just my little base, I was the only salesman. We ended up with about 2,000 subscribers, and then I kind of pushed it off until now. I did a presentation in Tulsa 3 weeks ago, and got a lot of traction. I've had a lot of meetings with police departments up there, so I think we're at that point we're getting ready to scale.
Hey, Paul, good presentation.
Thank you.
For those who are new to 1 Million Cups, this question and answer session is a vital component of the 1 hour process because it allows us to exchange information. So I got a great question for you that you've been asked before. Show me the money. Where's your revenue generated?
Well, as I showed the screens there a second ago, if you've been a victim, you're going to call the police, right? Then who do you call? Did they break the glass? Did they destroy your locks? Do you have to get hold of your insurance guy? Are you needing temporary security people? So that list of people by category are on a locator map at the top of the page. Find a security dealer near you. When you hit that locator map, those are the inexpensive ads. Those are the entry-level ads. The ads to the side, the ads right here, those are the expensive ads because they'll be static and they'll display all the time on the page. So that's the monetization. Thank you, Stan.
I think it's a really interesting side. I think you're the right guy, and I really like the idea of kind of a 2.0 version of Neighborhood Watch for the 21st century, so to speak. Two things. One, I would consider kind of transactional revenue. You've had a video business. You know, an e-commerce component to this could be great. Very, you know, they're high ticket price items, you know, big camera systems, things like that, connecting to insurance, becoming that, like, focusing more on some transactional aspects rather than just kind of display ads. And then second would be kind of your user experience. And you know, you mentioned the kind of just the facts area. Please, no discussion. This is not Facebook or Nextdoor. But some people might really want to do that, and they might want to discuss hypotheses or just, you know, launch your quarterback about the case. So you might have a separate area that might do that, and then you have a just the facts area on tips on things like that.
Actually, what we're working on in that respect is you'll be able to click on the notifications you want to receive, which will speak to that in a big way. But the more, you know, a lot of people that see the site, they don't want the noise. They, you know, when you're watching the TV at night, well, they show crimes all over the Metroplex in Oklahoma City. Imagine living in Stillwater or in El Reno where you're not connected at all to the Oklahoma City area. Half of the news is crimes that happened around the Oklahoma City area. Channel 9 the other night had 9 videos. They wanted to identify the person in that video. A lot of Metroplexes, you know, we're a little Metroplex. A lot of Metroplexes do not do this any longer unless it's violent crime. So there's that, you know, that's what we're weighing through. Obviously, everything is in motion, everything's fluid, and if that becomes something that is a real driver, you know, I need your all's comments. If you go on the site, you can go to support. I'd love to get feedback from you guys, and that's what this event right here is, the Q&A. Let me have it. Tell me those things that really get under your craw, because I need to know them, and I appreciate you pointing that out.
It's a very interesting model, and I encourage you to look at more ways that users, subscribers can
Right.
interact with your site as well as transact.
Well, one of the other things we have going in 2.0 right now is Groups module, and it's very robust and it's very expensive to develop. But the Groups module, if you can imagine being a liquor store, for instance, when we launched our Groups module, which we pulled back on, imagine being in the liquor business. Man, those guys get hammered, and the same guy hits all the liquor stores around him. So if you went on to crime scene and you joined a group liquor stores, every time a liquor store got hit, you could even expand that radius to be the entire Metroplex, not 5 miles. But now you're seeing all the different ways that liquor is being stolen in these stores, and you're communicating with all the other store owners because this guy is coming to your store. He was in my store today, he's going to be at your store tomorrow. So the faster you can get that information to that specific industry, the better. So anyway, that's one of the other things that we're working on that'll give you that ability to talk in the background, and not everyone's being bothered with it. So that's where we're headed. Got to crawl before I walk. Sir, yes, sir.
Paul, how many crimes have they solved with your system?
Well, you know, again, little bitty at Edmund Security, we solved about 8 crimes with my little band of brothers that were involved with crime scene and sharing it with their friends on social media. The first one that we signed when I launched this site, we had a 4-year-old crime. I put 3 crimes on the crime scene. I sent 50 emails to my friends all over Oklahoma City, and I said, hey, you guys know I've been working on a platform. Here's 3 crimes. Let's see if we can solve one of them. Well, that was at about 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, and one of my friends got it, forwarded it to another friend, hey, check out this site. He got a response, I know the guy in that video. There's a 4-year-old video. He goes, he went to school with us, but I can't remember his name. So he Facebooked it, and everybody on Facebook replied, this is the guy's name. Went to the crime bureau, the crime network, pulled up his name. He had been arrested by the same police department holding that video. He had been arrested and booked and jailed 3 times. In one of the mug shots, he's got the same shirt on that he stole the cameras that was the video. No one ever connected the dots for 4 years. Kent Ogle had even played that video on the news, and we never got a response. So with Crime Scene, with 50 emails, 4 years later, it took 9 hours to solve that crime. Sir.
Have you written a case study on that yet?
Well, you know, I'm really looking for some traction to start that case study. I've got to get people like you to understand what it is, and then to sign up and to share with your friends. But the most important thing is, and even my family I'm critical of them about this. My sister-in-law was at the dog park the other day, and she's telling me a week later she's at the dog park and all the car windows were knocked out and all the stuff that was laying in the all the purses were gone. About 8 cars. And I said, that couldn't have happened. Because if that had happened, you would have filed a report on crime scene, so everybody in that neighborhood would have known that happened. And I didn't get that crime scene report. She goes, man, I didn't even think of it. So we have to file reports. I'm sorry?
No, I say he brings up a great point. Content marketing, doing these kind of case studies, you said you're kind of waiting for traction. Well, this could be a way to build traction. Content marketing, you're a great source.
I'm glad you asked that.
Great way to do this.
I'm glad you asked that, because here's what we have just put together, and this is what we're launching in Tulsa, and I've got Contact Security here today, and we're trying to get this thing up and running. You all are familiar with BNI Gold Star Networking Referral Groups, right? Well, I want somebody to be this person. And what makes the most sense is an alarm company, a video company, to be that person. Because then we're going to reach out to these guys. I'm giving that person all of these listings on Crime Scene. There's one of my defects that was on that old deal. But I want that person to reach out to these companies and say, hey, you know, if you're the glass company and you drive up, pull out that little brochure that says, let's file this today on Crime Scene. I just took a picture of your windows knocked out. Let's file this on Crime Scene. And by the way, if you need any help from my buddies, we're all in Crime Scene together and we're all pursuing bad guys. Here's the list of people that we're all involved with that can help with Crime Scene. Because all of us are going to put this on Facebook. All these companies have a Facebook presence, a social media presence. And so when that crime happens and you can get that much information out that quickly, all of these people are going to benefit as advertisers. Now I'm not having to do case studies. I'm not having to do marketing because these guys are doing the marketing. And the person that steps out there...
I think content marketing is a cost of doing business when you have a digital business or an online business. Period, whether you're in any industry, you've got to have a company blog, you've got to be out there social media yourself. So I really advocate for doing some content marketing.
Well, and I'm looking for these 12 companies to be meeting once a week, like at the BNI, like at the Gold Star. We meet once a week and say, hey, let's strategize for solving crime. Who's doing what? And I've got 12 marketing platforms. Remember, this deal right here, I'm talking to a company in town, a national company that has an interest in Crime Scene. They have 45 agents in Oklahoma City. So if that person buys off on this and those 45 agents come in at a minimal amount, I've got 45 agents. What's real huge about this is the company I'm talking to is real competitive in the neighborhood, in the homeowner association market. The agents I met with said, Paul, I'm taking Crime Scene to my individual neighborhood associations because of the goodwill I'm creating. I'm showing them proactive way to not be a victim. I'm showing them a platform to solve a crime if they are victimized. You know what that's going to do? I mean, he was just like overwhelmed what he could do with that type of marketing himself, and he's out marketing crime scene times 45. So,
Justin's point around content marketing, though, do you see crime scene being an opportunity to share information about ways to protect and things like that, so that that type of content becomes valuable to people to share?
Ralph is my web developer who's sitting in here, and Ralph helped me get something perfected last night. We got it completed last night. We're now doing videos on crime scene on the home page. I don't know who in here has a passive keyless entry on their car, but Oklahoma City Police just filed 2 reports last week in southwest Oklahoma City, and in the report you can see people opening car doors and getting into cars. Well, those cars are locked, and you can see them hitting a transmitter in their hand. And they didn't ever call this out. They're not telling anybody what's going on. So I did a video and edited a video, and we posted it last night, and we're going to continue adding that type of crime information, security tips. We call it crime scene tech tips. But even when Ralph got the video last night, he goes, "Paul, I had no idea this is what's going on in Oklahoma City." And it's rampant. I bet people are having cars broken into and they don't even know it because there's no damage. So anyway, watch the video. It's an eye-opener. If you've got a car that you can open the door without taking your keys out of your pocket, you need to watch that video because there's a very simple way to protect against that. But they're breaking into cars everywhere. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. How do you plan to increase the subscriber base? You mentioned talking to police departments, and you mentioned these people talking to homeowners associations. Are you getting out and talking to homeowners associations yourself?
You know, I want this to be a national rollout. Okay, so I've got to do this. This is my way to get a presence and be the face of crime scene in Oklahoma City. I've already got an alarm company in Tulsa, Precision Security, that is putting this same group together, and he's using Gold Star to do it. He's putting the Gold Star deal together, and so this is going in Tulsa right now as we speak. I've got a meeting with Cleveland County Sheriff and a homeowner association, 550 homes, that just had 13 car break-ins in one night. So law enforcement, you know, that's why I'm real careful about saying it's their budgets, it's their resources. It's not that they don't want to go pursue this, it's that they can't. And that's not going to get better. I mean, if you watch the news, they got bigger fish to fry. And so it's real important that we as a community have the tools. We've got the tools. We've got to connect those tools so we can send that video to the police department and say, hey, here's what happened in our neighborhood last night. In another neighborhood identified the guy. It's his old pool keeper. I mean, that's how fast that can happen. If we get notified, we look at our video, identify the people, give that to the police. Just think, if we catch these guys, they do this until they get caught. If we catch them twice as fast, we just reduced crime 50%. So it's just a matter of quickly getting that information out there and being able to act on it. Yes?
You talked about your sister seeing something happening and not reporting it. Do you have an app and have plans when people can report crimes in real time without having to go to a website or?
Again, imagine that what we're dealing with, that Ralph and I are working on in development, you're at the dog park, you take your phone out, you take a picture, well, it just located you, so you don't have to locate it, okay? Put the details in and push send. So there's the picture, there's the details, we already located you, so while you're standing there, you can post that. If you can take a little video of the armed robbery of the guy running out of the bank, same thing. Remember, we all carry a surveillance camera. If ever you see something goofy, and I know I probably don't have to tell this group, but it's amazing how many people said, you know, I saw this. I said, did you take your camera out? I didn't even think about it. You know, they're like, so.
In looking to what she just said, when you said you take your picture out and you push send, where's it going? How did you get it to send to what? To an app or to the web?
Well, because
you
you
had to originally register?
Yeah, because
so
your phone.
The question, is there an app to originally access this, or is it only web-based?
That we're still web-based, but that's what we're developing is an app, so that when you push it, you're already signed in because
But
that's
it's
your
not
phone.
live yet, right?
We're not live yet. I've spent a lot of money to get here. I got to get to the revenue side or the investor side,
Right.
but I got to get to the other side. You wouldn't believe all the things I've got on Ralph's punch list. And Ralph just sitting there going, you know, Paul, we had a little money. And I said, yeah, well, So we're just getting, this is a brand new business model. We've tried going at the alarm industry a couple of different ways, and everybody wants to own it exclusively. Yeah, I'll do that if I can own it. Well, that kind of kicks me in the teeth down the road. I want everybody to be on it. You know, if I ever get to present again, it'd be to a bunch of alarm dealers. It's amazing, the marketing tool. But the reason these alarm dealers, it's such a marketing tool for them, I got a whole class I can teach on that. How to use Crime Scene as free marketing. You don't have to be an advertiser. Every time you file a report, put your URL in that report. Every time you go to a new customer, go to their computer and say, hey, type in my URL on Crime Scene. There's all the crimes I've been involved with. There's the ones I saw. Okay? And so that's free. And that's what I need the alarm industry to understand is there's a free tool, like Facebook is free. There's a free tool that you can use as a searchable database to promote your business. Remember the camera I showed that's in total darkness? As an alarm company, if I go in to talk to someone at a homeowners association, I show them that picture. And they go, well, that's the camera I want. I say, great, we sell a few of them because they're $750 each. But if you have the application and the budget, it's the best solution for that video. So, again, using it as a sales tool in the alarm industry is huge. I just got to get out there. I got to get to a point I can be out there doing that. Are we good? Thank you all for having me. I didn't get to my top 10.
Actually, Paul, I have one final question for you, and that is, what as a community can we do, as a 1 Million Cups community, what can we do for Crime Scene?
I was hoping you would ask that question because I had a slide for it. I'll be real quick. Hey, we're a startup. Anything will help, okay? And then join our effort to assist the police by providing information and video for investigation. Then record the VIN and serial number. You all got to record your VIN and serial numbers because there's so much stuff stolen. If you can't give that to the police, you will never get it back, period. End of discussion. Share Crime Scene with friends and neighbors before you're 1 in 14. Install video cameras around your home or business. Enroll your new existing cameras on Crime Scene on the camera locator map. Strategies for camera placement around your neighborhood. Get with your neighbors and strategize where to put those cameras. Lighting is key. Discuss Crime Scene with your related contractors. Help Crime Scene identify affiliate sponsors that I was showing up there in other markets. And if you or someone you know are victimized, file a report. We are content driven. The more content that's out there, the more time people get notifications, the more time they see my sponsors, and it turns into that vicious cycle. Thank you all again.
Paul, thank you very much. So, give you a little bit of background. So 1 Million Cups obviously is a startup community. And what will happen each week is we'll have 1 or 2 presenters. They'll present for 6 minutes, and then we'll have 20 minutes of Q&A. And this is, what's your terminology using yours?
Hurt our feelings, level feedback.
Hurt our feelings, level of feedback. This community is not designed to be, oh, that's so cute, awesome, when you're really thinking, hey, you need to work on that, right? So we want to be very candid. I want to thank a couple of folks real quick. One is all the organizers over the past 2 years that have tried to get this organization started, because there's a lot of effort that went into getting to where we are today. Huge amount of effort. The folks that are here today as organizers just happen to be right place, right time to go to the next step. And the way 1 Million Cups works is almost like a set of shark's teeth. So the organizers that are helping set things up today will eventually, hopefully their startups will take off. They'll get so busy they can't possibly commit any more resources, and another volunteer will step up as an organizer. So there's always a steady stream of people helping lead 1 Million Cups. Because in our opinion, 1 Million Cups is far bigger than any one person, far bigger than all of us in the room, and far bigger than what we could even accomplish here in Oklahoma City alone. It's nationwide and growing pretty quickly. So there's a couple areas that we need your help. First and foremost, like Zach already said, bring somebody next week. Get the word out there. Share a picture or something on Facebook, social media, wherever you're at, and encourage some folks to come out, because this is a community-driven organization. Secondly, if you know somebody that might want to present, have them go to 1millioncups.com/OKC and apply to present. There's also a place just to click to follow, and you'll get an email once a week of who's going to be presenting. I also want a huge shout out. Lester Flicker, you got Flicker? Huge shout out, of course, to Rose State College that
They bought food, they've got video, they've got photographers, they've got the location, we have air conditioning, pretty huge. They've committed a lot of resources of time, energy, and money. The Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce has been awesome for your support. It's been overwhelming, the people that have reached out. I2E have reached out, other organizers have been awesome. Also, the Tulsa 1 Million Cups has been awesome at providing what we call passport presenters. So of the other 72 locations nationwide, if they present in one of those meetings, they can come and present here as a passport presenter. And that's what we have today. Tulsa 1 Million Cups has also been awesome at having us down field trip to see how they do things, learn from some of their mistakes and some of their successes. And so I'm going to hit a couple of these slides. Another sponsor we have today, pretty unique. I got a phone call the other day from Girl Scouts. How many of you ever heard of Girl Scouts? I'll make sure I'm in the right room. Okay. So Girl Scouts somehow or other exceeded their goal this year, but still ended up with some extra cookies. And they said, hey, we love entrepreneurs. In fact, our Girl Scout cookie sales is one of the best training platforms for young ladies to learn entrepreneurship. So they brought out some cookies. What they're seeking in exchange for that, take cookies, pay it forward to somebody. If you have somebody who'd like to take a box of cookies too, grab an extra box and just kind of share it forward. If you have anybody that might want to volunteer for about 4 hours this coming year to take a young lady to someplace like the front of a Walmart or something like that, they are looking for volunteers. Oklahoma Inventors Congress is having their annual meeting August 8th, this coming Saturday. So if you want information about that, it's Oklahoma Inventors. If you have announcements, communication you would like to have shared up here, we're glad to do that. Part of 1 Million Cups is that umbrella to kind of pull everybody together for some free coffee and have some good exchange of ideas. So if you have other organizations that, hey, we should be up there, we should have some information, shoot me a slide, shoot me an email, or go on and email 1 Million Cups. Here's another one, Prototech OKC, who knows what that is?
Woo!
There you go. One woo, what is it?
Prototech OKC is a makerspace. A makerspace is a place where there are a bunch of special machines that normally people could not afford. For example, stuff for doing woodworking, stuff for doing welding, stuff for doing metal work. But also we have a room that we call like an Etsy room, hot glue guns, lots of stuff that sparkles. You can modify clothing. We have 3D printers, a bunch of 3D printers, and there's everything from ham radio hacking to how RFID works to how this whole car opening thing works going on. We support a lot of groups, a number of computer science specific things, the Java users group, the Python users group, etc. And there's a bunch of other clubs that meet there regularly.
Awesome. Super expensive to use the space?
$50 a month, all inclusive, including supplies.
Nice. Awesome. That is super expensive.
Welding sticks are very expensive.
Thank you for sharing that.
Cheers.
So I have a lot of pleasure in this next presenter because they've helped me. I've been a part of the 1 Million Cups in Tulsa for quite a while. By part of, I mean I take my 10-year-old on Wednesday mornings to learn from entrepreneurs, and I have a startup I'm working on, so being part of that culture has helped me a lot. And these particular gentlemen are the organizers, and Tuna is here from Oklahoma City. He's one of the organizers, as is Alex, who lives in Oklahoma City, or Tulsa, sorry. But they've got a really cool idea. I'm going to turn it over to them and have them share it, but I want to give you all a round of applause for coming up to Tulsa and to Oklahoma City and getting us started.
All right, how's this mic? Is that good? Okay, that one's a little quiet. So, okay. It is an absolute honor to be here at your inaugural 1 Million Cups. We're super excited. My name is Alex Golombievsky. This is Sergey Golombievsky, and this is Intuna Curry. Intuna and I are also 1 Million Cups organizers in Tulsa, like Robert said, so we're super excited to see this community just blossom here. So, let's get started. We are JobPack. So, Sergey, Intuna, and I are all three brothers who know each other most of our lives. And we make up the three co-founders of JobPack. So Sergey is our development powerhouse. He has 15 years of development experience, machine learning, algorithm design. He bench presses 315 pounds. Not bad for a developer, I'd say. And Tuna, he went to OU, played football for OU. He hates when I say that, so that's why I love saying it so much. And his background is in marketing and branding. He has 7 years of recruiting experience, and he's our candidate-focused consulting side. And I'm the least accomplished of the three, but they let me in anyway. So my name is Alex, and my background is in recruiting, and then some IT project management, did some big projects for American Airlines. And I do more of the company and culture side focused of our team.
All right, so, okay. So this
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So how many of you are familiar with staffing, the recruiting industry? Okay, so everyone in here is familiar with that. Well, Alex and I worked together in that industry, and a lot of what we did was spend time networking with the best candidates that we could find and connecting them with positions at companies that were an ideal fit. And we were very successful at doing that. Up until, if anyone remembers in this room, that year 2008, 2009, where the market just completely tanked. And both Alex and I on the same day were laid off, walked out together. But the cool thing is that after that experience, we both moved on to different careers. He went into big-time project management, and then I went into becoming a business analyst. And over that time, we stayed in contact and kept talking to each other. And during those conversations, we were like, you know, there are a lot of things that happened during our recruiting experience that we're still getting reached out to now by people needing resumes, job help, career help, that we can actually solve. And that's what led to this.
So here's part of the problem, is that it is more important than ever to hire the very best people for your company. That's the all-important difference between like a market leader, a lagging player, or heck, even you going out of business. But hiring is rarely your full-time job at your own company, right? You have marketing, you have running a business, for instance. So it's really tough and difficult to do it really well inside your own company. But then if you engage people like Intuna or myself, it was super expensive, to the tune of 20 to 30% of someone's annual salary. So when you hire a software engineer through us, you give us a $20,000 to $30,000 finder's fee just to let you hire them, which is crazy.
All right, so what we did is we took the 50,000 resumes that we reviewed, plus the over 5,000 candidates that we interviewed during that time, and poured that into experience to actually solve this problem.
So awesome. Instead of creating another traditional recruiting company where people just dial for dollars, we combined their experience and my 15 years of background in development and created a SaaS-based technology that automates a lot of what Alex and Tuna have done.
So here's how that works. So instead of reaching out to a recruiter, you actually go online and create what we call a profile and fill out what we call a discovery. Essentially, it's a survey asking you questions about your background and experience, what we call competence, the character, which is your own personality, the kind of culture that you want to be a part of, or if you're a company, what kind of culture you have at your organization, and then your overall compensation package. So this questionnaire is about 5 to 10 minutes, not incredibly long, but it covers the 4 pillars, which are for us, character, the competence, the culture, and the compensation of a match. So as a company, by filling this out, it automatically scans and checks every single corresponding candidate on our website, and then gives you a ranking list. And it's ranked based on who the best people are likely for you to start calling through and reaching out to. And it isn't based on keywords, which is what everything else in the industry is based on. It's based on your resume, and do you have this keyword that matches this keyword in the job description. It's more comprehensive. You actually get insight into how well they align on a personality level. Do they have the background? How well do they align with your own environment of the specific team? And our pay expectations align. And you get all of this insight at your fingertips as an employer before you touch a resume, before you even pick up a phone.
So obviously JobPack is a two-party system. We built it from the ground up to be candidate-centric. So meaning passive candidates. Those are people who aren't really actively looking for employment, but are open to new opportunities. So what that means is not only is it free for candidates, but they get to remain anonymous and never even have to upload a resume until an actual match is made. They also get a lot of insight into the culture of the company and the team they'll be working for. So, and we monetize on the employer side. We have paid plans starting at $1,000 a month, but we have free positions, basically a free trial, where people can test drive it, see the value before they ever have to pull out their credit card.
So we started this idea in January of 2014. We've been doing lots of nights and weekends. We have our 50 or so hours a week in our regular jobs, and then we spend another 20, 30 hours a week on JobPack. So we've been at the 404, a ton, a lot of weekends, lots of nights, and then there's another co-working space over in Tulsa, The Forge, which is awesome. We launched full-time as a team in March this past year, which was really, really cool, because in the last year, we've completely bootstrapped. We've had no outside funding of any kind, and we've managed to go through and interview a ton of HR managers, go through a lot of survey work. We built what's called an MVP, a minimal viable product. Are you guys familiar with the lean startup side of things, which is cool? It's basically how cheap can I make a prototype to see if my idea actually works. Well, ours was an Excel spreadsheet that did an algorithm, like a rudimentary algorithm that we actually built, and we actually got somebody hired using it, which is really great. And then since then, we took all the survey data, we took all what we've learned from the hiring and that MVP side, and we launched our full-fledged product this past May, which is really great. And now we have a steady trickle of very early customers that are paying us month-to-month rates for it, which is super cool as a startup. And then also, more importantly, we're getting people hired using our system. And it's actually working in the sense of when you're a top candidate on our system, we found now with a high percentage chance that you're actually going to be the one hired to take the job too. So it's cool. We are raising $100,000. I'm not actually pitching you guys at all, but it is for us to go over there and bolster our design, our UI, UX. We're not designers. Our stuff works, but it's pretty clunky right now. And really to focus on local commercialization and prove it out here in Oklahoma, in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, and then really set us up to raise a full round next year for it. So with that, we'll finish a bit early. We're not as prompt as Paul was on that, but we're open to questions. We do love the phrase internally, hurt our feelings, level feedback. This 1 Million Cups opportunity for us is another opportunity to get really tough love. Polite isn't helpful, so let us know what you guys think. Thank you. Who wants to pick out questions? Robert, I'll let you. Okay.
Okay, tough love. What's your customer acquisition strategy?
So we're figuring out, we have twofold. We've read a really great book called Traction. We're big readers, by the way. And Traction goes into that there's an initial way of how you get your first 2 customers and 20 customers, and a different way generally of how you get the next 200. For now, our first couple customers we've all gotten, we have 3 customers now, is through Intuna and myself, just glad-heading, shaking hands, kissing babies type of thing, which we will continue to do for probably the first 20 customers. Long term, we do have a very heavy content marketing strategy because we think that's key. And it's, being a 2-party system, really important for us to get. Go ahead.
Well, since you have 2 kinds of customers, what specifically is your outreach strategy for candidates?
Awesome. So since we're doing passive candidates, they're not looking for things like interview tips and resume tips. What they are looking for is how you can tell what your job security is from looking at your company's stock price, or how much you're worth in today's market here. In fact, there's other really cool statistics that says if you move jobs every 2 years, you earn 50% more in salary. So these key pieces that really want to pique people's curiosity to spend 5 or 10 minutes filling out a profile with no resume even needed for you to see what else is out there for it.
Thank you.
You had $100,000 you're looking for. What is your equity that you're given for that, or implied valuation?
Yeah.
And the second question would be, what's your projected revenue growth over the next 5 years?
So 2 awesome questions, neither of which we know by any certainty at all. So the valuation thing is more art than science for it. The Seed Step Angels in our own backyard, I think the average valuation, Darcy's here, is like $1.78 million at the time of receiving funding. That doesn't mean anything, really, but that's kind of the barometer of what we're at. So then the question is, are we below average for what was invested, above average? Right now, what we're really doing is just putting out what's called a SAFE agreement, the Simple Agreement for Future Equity, which essentially kicks that can down the road further and says, I'll tell you what, if you invest in us now, you don't necessarily get a share of the company, but when there is a fundraising event, you get a discount rate of this much and a valuation cap at this much. And those are the ones that we're talking with individual investors. Oh, and then...
What's the revenue projection over the next 5 years?
Also something we have no clue. Like, truth be told, it's one of those best guesses. If you have a company that says, oh, conservatively speaking, we're making $50 million next year, they're full of crap, right? So for us, we can probably, within the next year, we have a good degree of certainty we'll make about $250,000. The year after that, we're touching at the million marker. Past that, it is truly conjecture, but we're hoping at the $5 million round to be about the $50 million range for it.
That's what I'm struggling with this competition. There's a lot of competition in the space. I like what you guys are doing. You're kind of the Match.com for jobs because you're really going beyond just kind of the post your resume on 100 different websites at the same time. It's really kind of doing that kind of cute match with and commercial and all that kind of stuff. But how are you really going to get that message out there and communicate and differentiate yourself from the rest?
Well, we're doing a lot of focus primarily on social media. And just like you talked about, we've also, with our content marketing, we think that's going to be huge, positioning ourselves. We're using a tool called HubSpot. I don't know if anybody's familiar, but a lot of that, we plan to position ourselves, I think it was talked about in the crowd, being a resource for the passive candidate. we, in our competitive analysis, we saw that there's a lot of opportunity now in the space of the passive candidate. Right now, all the job boards that you see are focused on active candidates, but there's this gold rush towards the passive. That's where the majority of candidates are. The best candidates that you know in your network are currently working at a company. But a lot of you, if you think about it, you talk to friends and family and ask them if they're happy. A lot of them aren't. They're working in quiet desperation. Recruiters know that, and recruiters spend a majority of their time connecting and networking with these people. So there's this gold rush. We've been monitoring over the past a year and a half. There's like an ex-Google employee in California. There's a company called ClearFit in Canada. There's this rush towards that passive candidate, targeting them, and then being the first or the primary application that you can turn around to employers and say, hey, we are the primary application that can access these people who are passive, who are the majority of best candidates. So that's where we're focusing to differentiate ourselves from your Monsters, from your LinkedIns, and other job boards.
And further, HR Tech is super crowded, but within the couple competitors we have targeting the passive candidate, we're the only ones, they've probably done research too in their own, in fairness, but we've done a lot of research to figure out what resonates with people who aren't even looking for a job, and not having to update a resume is pretty big, because resumes are a pain in the butt. Being anonymous and private profile until you want to is pretty awesome, and being able to get insight into companies. So we've engineered a whole product around that to where somebody can literally spend 5-10 minutes over a lunch break on a really bad Monday morning and be on our website versus a lot of our competitors. You still have to go to our website. There's still a lot of hoops to jump through.
I'm intrigued by your concept. Rose State College has an obligation to assist with job placement for its students and their community. Matter of fact, we have some grants that require 70% placement of our graduates. So how can we integrate your model into the education sector?
That is awesome. Let's talk after, right? But yeah, we can talk about the yesterday. So no, we're looking at the technical term is an API, the application protocol interface, programming. That's what I said. And like you can on a technical level connect like your database to our database of people for it. We're still just at the cusp of talking about that. We had our very first serious meeting with a company who was interested in doing that. On a non-technical level, it'd just be as simple as offering them up opportunities to be on our system for it, in addition to everything else that you guys currently offer on the career services side.
On your client acquisition strategy, remember, Rose State just put one college or university. We've got, 35 in Oklahoma.
We talked a lot, yesterday.
Thousands and thousands of students looking for jobs.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it.
I'm from the University of Central Oklahoma, and a similar kind of statement and question, but also with that, most of the students aren't really a passive candidate. They're actively looking for something new. Most nonprofits, including higher education, may not have the ability to pay for recruitment tools such as this, but would definitely need it. So you may want to consider a strategy for how you can engage that, because as an older person, what about transitioning from a for-profit to a nonprofit sector, being that passive candidate? You may also have an institution that wants to hire someone from outside the sector. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you may want to think about that. Also, facing with LinkedIn, you said social media is a big part of your strategy.
Yeah, we don't have it here. You can sign up and create an account with your LinkedIn, with your Google, and your Facebook account today for it. But yeah, great point to the nonprofit side of things. We're definitely big. As a startup, you're more interested in validating your product market fit. So I want to give people jobs. We're okay with discounting specifically for like a nonprofit for to make it reasonable for everybody.
Two things. I would be careful not to discount yourself too quickly. Nonprofits may work on tight budgets, but they do have they may not have zero. So don't sell your product for zero. I work for one, and so we. No. And I also used to be an executive recruiter with Korn Ferry, so I understand the process. My question is, how do you protect the candidate and the two customers from bumping into each other and finding out that Intuna works for me, and I'm seeing that person show up as a match and that sort of thing? How do you protect? I realize they're passive searchers, and I also would be interested, how do you make sure there's not lots of dead wood in your system of people who may have changed and now are not ready to move because they haven't made that shift yet again?
So whenever you create an account as a candidate, you have the option of being anonymous. That's actually the default option now. So basically, the matches you have, the companies, none of them see your information until you click interested. So only at that point are you revealed to them. And if you change your mind, you can actually go ahead and say you're not interested and they'll hide your information again. So that prevents awkward conversations with your boss.
Yeah, that's a bad Friday afternoon conversation.
Well, but I may be a passive searcher or not really looking, because I agree with you, the best candidates may be someone who's not looking, but convincing my boss that I happen to be on the system and I'm not an active seeker might be a...
Technically speaking, your boss would only know about it if you said, I'm interested in a position that your boss has a profile open for. So you're completely anonymous until you as a candidate give the authority to say, yes, I want them to see my contact information.
Is it just to that one job?
Yeah. So job by job. Heck, even within, so we have American Airlines, a couple positions through those, and they could be a position a completely different size for you. You can be interested in one and be anonymous to the other. The thing about it is we're focusing really heavy on the position-centric and team-centric components, knowing that American Airlines has a certain culture, but it's not the same in IT, and it's not the same in sales, and it's not the same in customer service or accounting. And having independent microcosms of culture, and that's what we measure with here.
Yeah, just one thing, and kind of a criticism, but what you're really talking about is your secret sauce, right? Like what makes you different from all the competition out there. There's a ton of competition in the space, but what I didn't get that is from what you just said, it doesn't really show up on your website. So I was just checking out your website, and the thing is, it doesn't really convey that same message that you're not Match.com, you're eHarmony. Hey, people have to spend like 15 minutes, but it's going to give them a better result at the end. So just a little bit of a criticism.
That's actually very timely. Before this started, I actually was reaching out to our design team. So we have a design team in Tulsa that we're working with. Right now, if you go to jobpack.com, it is employer-facing. We were all at the OKC 2014 HR conference, so we changed our site to face for employees, so we can network with HR managers. So we had a great response there, but now we realize it's full go, just like Alex showed on the chart, where we are now going full board, where people can actually sign up. So actually within the week, we will have a candidate-facing landing page.
That explains that.
If they're passive, how do you make them proactive in wanting to become a part of this? Because if they're passive, they've been sitting in a job that they're not that happy with anyway, probably for a while. So how do you communicate to them that there might be an opportunity to not be passive anymore?
So that's a great question. So just like what was talked about before, we think a lot of our success will be in not only with our marketing channels and getting out there, but will be the content marketing. We think that will be huge. And to Alex's point, what he talked about, a passive candidate won't be interested in the same things that an active candidate will. Like he was the example, how to use a stock price to realize that, hey, maybe it might be time to go. Or certain content that is actually very focused. So we've done a lot of talking about making our system very educational based. So to have different types of content that resonate with people at certain times, that will cause them to convert.
There's a really great book that we read called Contagious by John Berg, I think is what it is, and it goes into an acronym that is really cool. Talks about why things are shared, and we really want to add a viral component into what we're building here. So if it's social currency, it's nice and cool. If there's a trigger talking about jobs, it reminds you that, hey, your friend's talking about jobs. If it's emotional appeal, if it's very practical, if it's wrapped in a story, the more of those it encompasses, the more likely it is that you will actually share it to one of your friends. We don't even have sharing functionality yet. That's the curse of startup. There's too many things and priorities. But that's one of the things we want, is that you find it's 5 minutes to do this site, you find a match, you're seeing how well you rank up to other companies, you share it with other people. You've been raising his hand for a long time.
If I was your investor, I would advise you to say the following. Instead of negating on Match.com, we are not Match.com, I'd advise you to describe yourself as more like Zillow, because you're all about make me move.
Right? Cool. I like it. Yeah, we're avoiding, Match.com was what we used to say. We used to say, think eHarmony and Monster.com have a baby, and it's cute, and I still like it. But now eHarmony is coming out with their own, personality matching called Elevated Careers, and it's been delayed to oblivion. I don't think it's out yet. It should have been out first of the year.
You try to make a system where people have the comfort to basically build shit into greener pastures. But the fact is, most of them like that stability. That's the only reason why they have it. Unless, they get cornered or put into a corner to bail out, they're going to stick around. They're probably going to look at the side. So how do you plan on breaking that mold and that stigma as far as putting whatever it is that you're pitching out there? And remember, your product is just a means to an end. Your actual, to me, seems that if I was looking for a job, your actual sales pitch would be like, this company has this to offer.
Exactly right.
I.e., whether it be benefits, healthcare, vacation, family time, company perks, whatever. Those companies are the ones putting the market for you to sell.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, are you planning on sticking with traditional job markets? In other words, there's so many different lines of work. At the executive, blue collar, white collar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yet now there's a emerging trend of new job markets being created. For example, search engines and online marketing, social media managers, and so on and so on. Well, then, coming up in the end of age, you've got so many new markets that are coming in. Have you given thought to marketing somebody's current job skill set onto a new position?
Yeah, love it. So good questions. So I have to, first off, about how we would get somebody to leave the security of their current job for it. There's two parts to that. One, the reason why people feel secure at their own job, despite them being in this quiet desperation mode, is because you prefer the devil you know than the devil you don't. And we don't have it up here, but you have a view just like this as a candidate into the company position, where we have one more in the analysis side. You actually have a physical breakdown of every single item of how well you match with having autonomy, or having a dynamic or structured environment, or having very family feel or very competitive. You can see exactly how this position aligns with you, and you get way more insight than you've ever had before. So part of it is just this really fear of unknown. Okay, I can leave my job. I know it's not great, but what if this one's worse? This is what we're trying to do, is blast open the doors. We're trying to what we say is, like the recruiting companies now are trying to do this, but it's not scalable. They're the, what is it called? The travel agents of the hiring market, right? And we want to be the Expedia, which get you direct connection insight as to where it is it on time, what time does it leave, how much is it? You get all of that without having to go through a middleman for that. And then your second part was talking about the different types of jobs that we have on there. We are focusing on professional jobs, but that's not not that we don't allow others on there. The professional jobs are the ones that we're focusing, because most of the time it isn't enough that you have somebody that can code, or that you have somebody who says they're a salesperson. You have to have a really good understanding of what kind of personalities do really well in this position, and how will they align to your environment. And that's where we really, our product becomes the complete powerhouse, because we measure that authentically and openly and give tons of transparency to that, where in the current system, this would be just a blank, generic-looking resume that looks like the other 80 resumes you have in your desk from that job posting for it. So.
All right, so what can we do as a community to help JobTag?
Love it. We also have a slide for that. So, love it. So, CEOs, HR managers, HR directors, we are, like we said, we're trying to automate what recruiters do for a fraction of the cost. Basically, scale what recruiting companies are out there to do. So if you know people who are own a company or manage a company that want to leverage really new recruiting technology to leverage their recruiting strategy, we want to know. We found that we're the best fit for companies that know they're going to hire 50 people that year, and they're looking at recruiting strategies of how to get access to those, not people who just need a secretary, one time next month.
And then from there, he didn't want to pitch, but we are raising money, so we're open to that. And we are currently looking for an actual sales executive or someone familiar with software sales.
Yeah, we're even in the HR space.
And also, if anyone is a JavaScript front-end, back-end developer that plays around with Beanstack, Mongo, Express, Angular, Node.js, talk to me.
Yeah, he has a pile. We do Scrum, so he has a pile of work that's taller than he is over there. So we have a huge backlog of things. So with that, again, it's an honor to be here. Thank you guys so much.
I'd like to say thanks to Paul for coming up presenting, thanks for JobPack, Dan, thank you for offering this facility.
Zach, can I shout out to my Rose State team, please?
Absolutely.
Hey, if you're the Rose State team, please stand up so we can acknowledge you. Some of the representatives here today from Rose State include Professor Terry Byers. He runs our Fab Lab. Sandy Stevens, Small Business Development Center. We've got marketing people. The photographer just left. We are really honored to host this. And this room is available every Wednesday morning throughout the balance of the year, free of charge.
Around, mingle. I believe there's some coffee and food out there.
There's all kinds of food.
If you guys got a cell phone, pull it out. Check us out on Facebook. 1 Million Cups, Oklahoma City. Thank you. I'll see you next week.